I see in the Rug Delver sideboard, this looks to be commonplace. There's a Taxing Probe, going to show a Brainstorm, a Crop Rotation, a Cloud Post, double Tropical Island, a Bajuka Bog, and a
That's a
Glimmer
lot of
Post.
lands.
That is a lot of lands. But I see a Zuron Orb in the sideboard nowadays.
Yeah. I've never seen it before in my entire life, actually. This is the first time.
I was going to say, is that a Jacob Wilson innovation?
I don't think Jacob had them, although I can't say for sure. Or had it, I should say. But it's kind of an interesting card. The field out here has had a fair bit of burn, as I mentioned in earlier deck text, so I can kind of see it.
I
Sure.
can see the old combo with the Zoran Orb plus Life in the Loam.
I mean, it's certainly handy against Price of Progress, too.
That's true, actually.
In
Forgot about
fact, I'll take no damage.
and gain probably somewhere 6 to 8 life. And you probably can't win now, even though I do have this big.
Well, see, the nice thing is, you know, you can sack half of your lands and basically counter the Price of Progress.
Ooh, I just want to sack them all. I don't know.
To be fair, I mean, if you played a tournament with, they can never beat that anyway. So.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little too aggressive. I just want to sack them all. So Sidher is going to resolve that Taxing Probe. He's going to play a Scalding Tarn, sacrifice that, get a Volcanic Island, and here is a Delver of Secrets to get this game underway.
It's a pretty ideal start for Ricky. He gets to know exactly what Tony's working with, and he has a Delver of Secrets in play.
Going to check for Delver. No go. Sidher going to draw his card. I think step one is probably attacking, and we'll see where we do go from there. In for one, Murata going to go down to 19.
Ricky's got some options. I see another fetch land. I think he has another Delver.
That's what I thought I saw too.
Yeah.
And he has pulled one Delver to the front. I think there's also a Ponder hanging out there too, so he can really put the pressure on this game and get this game over before he can even get started for Murata, whose hand is a little bit slow in plotting.
Yeah. He goes ahead and fetches first key if you're going to cast Delver and Ponder this turn.
Yeah.
Don't want to get yourself stranded by casting the Ponder first, but he'll likely lead the Ponder here anyway. As you know, you want to maximize your options. If you were to draw something a little more interesting, like a Spell Piercer or Stifle, you could theoretically debate holding that up.
So Sidher going to play Delver of Secrets. And okay, so just triple Delver. Okay.
Well, never mind then.
Yeah.
This is much better. Yeah, this is pretty close to the nuts for Ricky. Looks like Tony is not so far from the nuts himself. He just drew a Show and Tell and has a Primeval Titan available.
This game could change in a big way here. Depends on how he wants to organize his lands, because he can't play around Wasteland right now because of crop rotation. So he's got to be pretty careful with how he goes about playing his lands. But yeah, this gets a little bit more interesting now. That Show and Tell, really, really big draw for him.
Yeah, what other lands does he have access to? He does not have like a Bullet Ancient Tomb or anything, so he can't just crop rotation the Tropical Island into like Ancient Tomb, play his other Tropical Island this turn. That's kind of an interesting line that makes crop rotation makes possible, but instead he just plays a Cloud Post.
I didn't even think about that. That'd be sweet. Crop rotation generating a mana.
Ricky, of all the unlucky things, fails to blind flip Delver for the second time.
Yeah. Unbelievable, right?
I know.
Here is a Ponder. You see Forcible Volcanic Island, Stifle in the grip as well.
That's a good Ponder.
That's not a bad Ponder. Not a bad Ponder.
Scale of 1 to Ponder. That's a Ponder.
Wouldn't know. Never cast him.
He'll come around.
Yeah, probably, actually. I'm not thrilled about it, but you're not wrong. So.
We got you casting Sphinx's Revelation. That's like
I know.
That's it. Now that's like mainlining.
There's a lot of people that aren't happy about that. Sorry, guys.
Cedric lost the faith.
Yep. And for 3, gonna knock Murata down to 16. That Forcible really, really important here. Got a Wasteland in hand too to Sidher, so I'm trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah, I imagine it's not use Wasteland right now. Tony still has a green mana open and that crop rotation in his hand. He was likely debating whether he even wanted to play it, perhaps valuing keeping it a secret.
Sidher could induce though, you know, because he does have a he does have Forcible plus a blue card, so he could, you know, Wasteland something, crop rotation, then counter the crop rotation. I don't know how good that is.
Yeah, I mean he's basically using Force of Will to make his Wasteland at that point, right? That's not ideal. Right, Having 2 mana up also lets him potentially, you know, get his force through a Spell Pierce if he has to counter an important spell this turn. So that matters.
That's true.
One of the things I like about the 12-post deck is you can do situations like this where you're casting Show and Tell, you wind up getting your Show and Tell countered, and then on the next turn you just cast the Primeval Titan anyway.
Yeah.
All he would have to do that is have another Cloud Post here, and instead he has Glimmer Post.
The 2 Locusts in play. So Sidher's going to make sure he knows exactly what that does do. Counts each Locust in play for each one. You gain a life. Good Wasteland in response, though.
No Locust on Ricky's side.
He says, that's fine. Get your life. I don't mind. I think he minds, though.
Tony does have another Cloud Post in hand, and so it looks like it was Tony who decided to play around Spell Pierce, in fact. Or no, I guess it doesn't really matter. He's playing around Daze.
Yeah.
That's about it with this line.
That's really the best he can do here.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, if Ricky had Daze, he probably would have Wastelanded.
That's true.
So I don't really like playing around Daze here. I think Ricky would be very happy dazing to force through a Wasteland against this particular opponent.
Well, there's a Force Will, and that's removing Stifle, so.
Didn't want to stifle Glimmer Post? How weird.
Yeah, shockaroo.
Now, pitching a Stifle is interesting, however, because he could, stifle Primeval Titan's trigger should Tony manage to get it into play.
That's true. So Delvers are flipping, all three of them, of course, because Force Will is on top, which Sidher set that up with a Ponder.
He stacked the deck. Let's call a judge.
Yeah, rush down there. And here's an attack for 9. So actually, Murata's now on a 2-turn clock. Wasteland's going to target the Cloud Post, it looks like. So I think it's got to be a show and tell off the top from Murata to actually be able to get back in this one. That's a Brainstorm.
But how could he cast it? We have Force of Will.
Well, no other blue card in the grip, though.
Oh, are we short the blue card?
Yeah, short the blue card.
Rats.
There's a Brainstorm to start.
Yeah, Tony brainstorming, and that's actually going to cost him a mana and basically put him out of being able to do too much here. If he hits, like, Blue Source Repeal, he could buy himself a turn, perhaps.
Yeah.
And he already had the extra Tropical Island, so he really just needed the Repeal.
You see, Candelabra was one of the cards that was drawn. I think a 2 lands, and I don't think there's any way for him to get out of this. I like the way that Sidher set this game up, too, of just making it so that the Delvers would be a 2-turn clock, so we don't have to play any additional turns, and have just enough permission to get the job done.
Well, he does still have a Glacial Chasm he can crop rotation for to buy a little bit of time.
Like a little fog action.
Yeah. Crop
Sets
rotation
him back on
as
land,
fog.
though?
Sets him back 2 lands,
Oh,
technically. Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't do all that much. I guess if he crop rotations for Tabernacle, that sets him back in land too, because Tabernacle doesn't tap for mana.
It probably, I guess it's better. I don't even know. No,
Yeah.
I guess it's probably not better.
I don't think it accomplishes very much.
Every little bit counts when you're dead on board. Especially when you're dead to Xaxes. Then every little bit counts a lot more.
Going down to Delver's rough. 1. Candelabra.
It's kind of interesting to me that we're declining to play around Daze now, I guess.
I mean, he knows, like, we know that Force of Will, his crop rotation, is in hand, and then just a mystery card.
Yeah, I guess he figures if there's a Daze there, I'm dead to it anyway, so there's really not much point to playing around it. So he baits Spell Pierce first instead by playing the Candelabra.
Sure.
But Ricky, it would take a pretty big misstep from Ricky to Spell Pierce that Candelabra. That would be effectively forcing it, since he wouldn't be able to use Force anymore if he had that.
Yeah.
So not going to wind up making a big difference.
All right, so there's a Glimmer Post going to come into play. 2 life gain, so it's going to put Murata up to 11, and then the attack would actually bring him down to 2. So he's bought himself another turn, basically.
Yep.
The big question now is, can he peel Show and Tell? Because if he peels a Show and Tell, he can actually get himself back into this game with just chaining off Glimmer Posts.
Yeah.
And Vesuvas for Glimmer Post. But that's step 1 is peeling a Show and Tell. And Sidher says, my turn, and it is. So 3 Insight Deliberations are going to be untapped. Sidher's going to draw his card. A blue card makes all of this moot, as does a Lightning Bolt.
I think, did we still know that card? I think we knew it was a fetch land.
I think we did, yeah.
So he's going to just hope this is enough.
You see his hand of Volcanic Island and Force of Will, so Murata going to untap that. Candelabra's going to untap the blue source. Now we're going to cast Brainstorm. Trying to get there.
Does Ricky have something, or is he just repping here?
Repping. He has Force of Will, Volcanic.
It's a convincing rep. This kid lives in LA, right?
Yeah,
Let's find him an agent.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Primeval Titan, crop rotation, and a mystery card among them. Pretty good rep, though, you're right.
It's a pretty good rep.
Yeah, not bad.
For the record, I'm pretty sure Ricky lives in like North Cal or something.
He lives up near Sacramento.
yeah. But I mean, we are in the city, right?
We gotta earn a living.
Yeah, gotta get him in the business.
Draw a card. Blue Delta off the top.
Cloud
There's
post.
there's the post. I guess he could crop rotate for Glacial Chasm now, and that would buy him an actual 1 turn.
I think just showing is probably better.
Let's see what this does.
Makes a little bit of mana.
If anybody knows what they're doing with this deck, it's Murata.
Yeah. Well, he has. Actually, I guess that didn't make any mana. That was just the same.
Yeah, I guess that is the same, isn't it? Yeah, 3.
Bait's a stifle, I guess.
Okay, sure, sure.
But if it got stifled, we would be dead.
Yeah.
So. Tony just has to jam that show until I'm pretty sure.
Does he have one in his hand?
I thought. Does he not?
I don't think he does.
I thought he hit one. Oh, I could be wrong, I guess then.
I mean, if he has a show until, he just has to cast it. So, I'm almost positive that he doesn't. And actually, no, that generates a mana. Because there's three logos.
Oh, you're right. There
yeah,
are 3
generates
logos.
1.
Good call. I was still in.
I was
Soul
stuck. I was
Cloud
stuck
Post
too.
mode.
Yeah. But yeah, I see. There's like a crop rotation hanging out that I know about.
Yeah. He packs
All right,
it
he's just
in.
gonna pack it up. Okay. So Ricky Sidher's gonna win game number 2, and we'll be going to a 3rd and final one between Rug Delver and 12 Post here in Los Angeles. See what's gonna happen. I wonder if there's going to be any changes of the sideboard or anything. That's exactly, of course, how Sidher wants the games to go. Even though he didn't draw a wasteland.
Delver, force your spell. That's how he wants the games to
go?
That's
exactly how they want him to go, Glenn, yeah.
And he did draw Wasteland.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Wastelanded a Cloud Post. I would say it was a key Wasteland.
Yeah, not bad. All right.
So, moving to the sideboarding, it looks like the players are adjusting a little bit. I saw Tony immediately reach for it. Let me take a peek. What might he have gone for?
That's my question. He's got 4 Flusterstorm, 3 Mindbreak Trap, 2 Venser, Shaper's Savant, 2 Elephant Grass, a Tabernacle of Pendril Veil, 2 Cursed Totem, and a Piddly Needle. Any of those cards really interest you?
Elephant Grass is actually a little interesting.
Well, it ties up the mana.
Yeah, Propaganda is pretty good against Rug Delver. It's a deck that operates on a very low land count. It uses its mana for other things, like wastelanding you and stifling your stuff. It's hard to hold open Spell Pierce with that kind of action going on.
No. That is true. I do kind of like that. I do like the Tabernacle to actually be able to crop rotation for. Other than that, I don't really like very many of the other options here. Cursed Totem is a 2-mana artifact. You can't play activated abilities.
Of creatures, yeah.
Of creatures, okay.
It is a very, very powerful card against a number of Legacy decks, specifically Maverick. Shuts down a lot of the cards in that deck. Like Mon's Goblin Raiders, you got them. Like Grey Ogres, you got those too.
Pikers. Give you a Piker or 2.
It is a pretty brutal card against Maverick, and it's also good against Death and Taxes, a deck we've obviously seen a fair bit on camera today. A deck that's having a successful weekend all over the world, in fact.
Yeah, Ari Lax. I don't want to say he's the one that put it on the map. I would say, honestly, it was Thomas and Voltson.
Oh, yeah.
Who did it.
Finished in the top 4 of the Legacy Bazaar of Moxon
this
weekend himself. Yep, Thomas and Voltson.
Now, I know Michael Bunde won.
Michael Bunde won the Vintage Bazaar of Moxon.
Okay.
Yep. Thomas and Voltson, I believe, got second, actually, at the Legacy Bazaar of Moxon. Or no, I'm sorry, Shahar got second.
Okay.
Shahar Shenhar, second place, also playing Death and Taxes.
He played D&T?
Yeah, and Thomas and Voltson, top 4, Death and Taxes, at the Legacy Bazaar of Moxon across the pond.
Wow.
And then, yeah, Michael Bonde won the Vintage.
Nice. Very nice.
The next day.
Team Rocket
Team
showing
Rocket
up.
representing a little bit.
Shahar played Death and Taxes.
Shahar did.
I'm blown away right now. He played Death and Taxes.
All of a sudden, you're like, man, that deck must be legitimate.
It just doesn't seem like it's in his range.
Well,
for some reason.
You've learned a whole new Shahar there,
Yeah, the last thing I expected was him to play kind of a White Prison-esque style deck. I don't know. I just did not expect to see this from him. I mean, congrats, obviously. That's awesome.
Yeah, strong finish.
World champ.
It was actually Elves that won the event. I forget the player's name, but I believe it was the same player who won the last-minute tournament for 3 buys. Managed to convert the 3 buys he won the day before into an actual tournament victory.
Do we know what the attendance was like at the BOM?
I think it was like 3 to 4. I know that the buy tournament had like 2 something.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so definitely a sizable legacy event. I don't know what its exact count is. This is just me like extrapolating based on information I've heard. I assume it was in the multiple hundreds, probably.
Sure. That's awesome. That tournament's a big deal out there too.
Yeah.
I know Carson Cotter, one of our writers, writes about Legacy on our free side. He was really looking forward to going to that, and he's a really, really good Legacy player. Some of the best Legacy articles I've ever read. I'm sure he was playing Storm, which is what he loves to do.
That seems to be his speed. On your recommendation, I've read a few of his articles as well, and yeah, they're good.
Sidher Hollywooding again.
Tony taking a mulligan. Ricky, a keep. Oh, I agonize.
Ugh.
Oh.
Oh man, turn 1 Delver, turn 2 Wasteland, turn 3 Wasteland. Ugh.
Hand in head.
Maybe he just wants to run his hands through his hair.
Maybe.
Yeah. I know there are people who like to do that. Big time Hollywood.
Who do you think should co-star with Ricky in the film?
Hedrick.
No, the female lead.
What movie are we in?
I'm just saying, you got to have a good chemistry, a good counterpart. I'm just theorizing.
Good question. I'm going to go to one of my favorite actresses, Emily Blunt.
I like that choice. No, that's solid.
Thank you.
That's a good call.
Thank you.
I could see that.
I'm a big Emily Blunt fan.
Quirky. It doesn't look like they're going to work out at first.
Yep.
But then, things
And
move
really, why
along.
would they? Why would they? He's over dramatic. She doesn't take any crap. But
Yeah.
they end up working it out in the end due to their love of Glacial Fortress. Yeah. I'm a scriptwriter. I am.
Well, you're in the right city then.
I've worked on, my roommate and I in college, we worked on a script for a movie where the main selling point was where the guys would eat. And we used to eat French fries and chicken fingers a lot.
Okay.
A very known meal. And so what we want to do is we want to make it so that they start with the same letter. So fingers and fries, tenders and tots. That's about as far as we got. But there have to be more names for chicken tenders that start with multiple letters, and like deep French fried products that start with the same letters that you can line up. I think we came up with a third one at some point. I just don't remember what it was.
I think we should have stopped this at Emily Blunt.
No way. No way. This movie has legs. Tenders and tots would be a great name for a restaurant.
I do have a report from the Twitters. There were 695 players in the Bizarre
That's
Box
a
and
lot of players.
Legacy event. That is a lot.
Seriously, turn 1 Sensei's Divining top off of a tropical island. 695?
Yeah, I don't know how many people were at the Grand Prix this weekend, so that could theoretically be the largest Magic tournament of the weekend.
So many people. Here's a Taxi and Probe Show and Tell, Cloud Post, Vesuva, and a Blue Delta in Murata's hand. Sidher going to go down to 18 to get this information, but he will get a card in the exchange.
Yeah, so Tony not doing much of anything, but depending on what his top turns up.
Need to spin it.
Yeah.
Spin it to win it.
He's threatening a turn 3 that could be very explosive.
See, Sidher has a...
Whoa, double Pyroblast and a Force of Will and a Flusterstorm. If he has a threat, this game is going to get real graphic.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he has one, though.
He has a Nimble Mongoose. That's all we need. We're done.
Yeah. Well, Nimble Mongoose means that it's going to be blue-green.
We'll
the tweets are coming in. The tweets are coming in. Chicken and chips.
What if
I knew this was going to happen.
We wrought.
Potatoes and poultry? Yes. Yes. At We Did the Thing, thank you. That's the best one so far. Potatoes and poultry, I think. Glenn, come on.
It's a fine name. It's very alliterative.
All right. It's going to be a great movie.
Is it going to be?
It's still in the works.
Or could it have been?
It's still in the works.
Are you sure?
It's not over yet as we see a ponder being cast here off a volcanic island.
Ricky, I think he only had one land from the look of it. Maybe, no, maybe, I don't think he could have fetched Volcanic Island. Well, no, I guess he has to fetch Volcanic Island if he only has one land to make those Pyroblasts
Yeah,
work.
make the Pyroblast work, yeah.
So, he's in a spot. He's in a bind.
Going to shuffle a ponder right away. Really just needs one more land, as you said.
Yeah.
And, if it's a fetch land or a tropical island straight up, and Wasteland's not bad either, but
I might
it's
have
going to be
just
sitting pretty well.
I don't know. I guess you have to ponder there.
I
Looks
think
like he
you
drew
do.
a Scalding turn. I mean, I think there are there's some merit to holding, but the problem is if you don't have a land when you hold, then you're very vulnerable to a show and tell if your opponent peels. So
Sure.
yeah, I think I like the turn one. My reconsideration was ill-placed.
There is a cloud post that comes into play from Murata. Tweet from Blake, Niemi, wings and wedges. As we do continue on here in this match.
Fetch land.
Yep. So now he's got all the sources of mana. And we're already pretty close, too, to Nimble Mongoose having Threshold.
Yeah.
So this is not going to just be a dinky attack for one a bunch. This is going to start to be attacks for three and really actually put pressure on Murata to do something. And those two Pyroblasts are going to be really hard to beat.
Yeah, Ricky has a hand that's actually especially good in this matchup as well, as it's not a hand heavily reliant on soft counters. He has 3 solid hard counters in 2 Pyroblasts and a Force of Will. The Flusterstorm also the least soft of the soft counters, I would say, capable of firing off for pretty significant numbers. So he's right where he wants to be.
So Vasu is going to happen. And now you're going to get a top activation. Take a little look at the top here. There's a repeal.
Well, that's no good here.
No.
A Brainstorm and a Caracas. I think he has to look for a Shuffler. This is not great.
That's my favorite Brainstorm art.
Anything that's not Mercadian Masks is dead to me.
That's the only one you like?
It's the only one I like.
Tough crowd. Firm but fair. I will say that. Not only does he need a Shuffler, but his Show and Tell right now doesn't actually put anything into play. So the fact that he has 2 of those.
That's true. He's got a couple lands.
Okay, yeah, you win. I mean, he could just run. Oh, no. I think that was a Wasteland.
That was a Wasteland.
Yeah.
That's a big Wasteland.
Yeah.
Tony does not have a crop rotation, but Ricky kind of has to respect it, at least for now. Oh, he could have theoretically Wasteland there and have Flusterstorm back up for the crop rotation if he wanted to, but it appeared that he considered Wastelanding in the upkeep there. That's not really going to work out as Tony can top in response, and then, he's got the Polluted Delta anyway.
I like bluff Show and Tells here. How do you feel about that? It's
feel
aggressive.
I don't know. I'm like an open book to those kind of things. I can't pull it off.
No?
No. Tony might be able to, though.
I mean, it's...
To be fair, against Ricky in this spot, it's not a large risk. Like, the worst-case scenario is he actually just says, all right, it resolves, and then both players put nothing into play.
Yeah, sure.
Pretty much. So...
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's a line of play that's available.
I think it's defensible. I know that Huey and Brad both said they did it a number of times during the Invitational. So.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
But they're the best in the world. So.
That's also true. You gotta be confident when you run that. And seriously, a sacrifice of a Polluted Delta. Well, Murata's hoping. All right, so it's going to take one. Do you have a Stifle? Please, hopefully not. And that is what Murata's thinking. And you don't, so I do get to search. All right, Tropical Island, number 2.
Yeah, once the first one's in play, there's really no opportunity cost to the second one.
Yeah.
And this is more and more looking like a game where he might need to hard cast a Primeval Titan to win.
One and 2 and 3. Has he found a big animal yet? I don't think so. You see a top there? It's a Cloud Post and a Brainstorm?
Yeah. Well, he's out of Shufflers too, I think, so he's going to have to make do with those for now.
Ooh.
Ricky, Vendilion
That
click.
is really good.
Tony verifies the target. It's you.
The bluff Show and Tell would have been pretty bad, too.
Yeah. Show, repeal Vesuva. Ricky's going to say, you hang on to those.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to, right? I mean, the only thing he can repeal is Vendilion Click, and Sidher would be happy to cast it again.
Yep.
That's part of the reason that you saw him not even Wasteland. It's like, I want to get this established first, and then I can go after your lands.
I think you just let this happen, and then now you can Wasteland safely, since you know there's no crop rotation, really.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, what's the Show and Tell really do, right? When you have 2 copies of Pyroblast in your hand, you don't even really care about either of those. Also, he's got no guy in his hand.
Yeah, you just dug that top 1 card deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like shipping it there, but I think it's defensible both ways, depending on how Ricky plans to play out the next few turns.
Shipping it? Ship it holla? Is that why?
No, it's just a word.
Oh.
He's Sip It Holla. I didn't reference a beverage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, really excited there.
Another show and tell. Well, I guess no harm done.
Yeah, I don't need any more of these, but all right.
Tony literally has access to the exact same cards. For now.
Really tough just watching Murata stumble around here. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in the grave right here for Sidher. Draws some land, has a bunch of counter magic. I think you mentioned the Flusterstorm in hand too right now, I believe.
Yeah, if he gets one more card in the graveyard, I think it's even defensible to consider wastelanding yourself to turn on that Mongoose and shorten up the clock.
Yeah, just get this game over with. Yeah, I don't think that's crazy, honestly.
No.
Obviously, we have the benefit of working with some really good information because we can see Murata's tops, and Sidher does know his hand. But yeah, turning up the heat on this, making it a 3-turn clock potentially is not the worst thing I've ever seen. Say, all right, get a Cloud Post out of here. In for 4. So, Murata's going to go down to 14, and Sidher's just going to pass the turn back with a wall of counter magic, and this is the spot, of course, that Rug Delver just wants to be in. I've got my creatures on the board. My Mongoose is only going to grow, and I got a bunch of counter magic and reactive stuff for you.
Yep.
Brainstorm the draw step here for Murata. It's probably where his turn has to start. He's going to play a Cloud Post here.
Now, he's been rolling that Brainstorm with the top for a while. I'm not so sure he'll play it just yet.
See him reaching, 2 mana, 1 mana floating, since there are 2 locusts in play. It's a Brainstorm time, excuse me, a top time.
See, top Vesuva show and tell.
Yep. Nothing of help.
More of the same.
He says, I'm going to draw a card. Draw on the stack, Brainstorm.
Draw on the stack,
repeal.
Yep.
Okay.
He's going to go ahead and repeal, and this is going to effectively net him down a card or 2, as he won't have to put the top back.
Okay.
He'll draw a card for repeal and then draw a card for the top's ability. So there are actually going to be 2 new cards the next time he tops.
Okay. Assuming Sidher lets this happen.
Yeah, I think...
You think this is worth countering?
I think this is worth countering. It's basically like pay 1, draw 2. Well, I mean, pay 2, draw 2, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would be willing to counter it. I probably wouldn't have burned the Pyroblast. I would have liked the Flusterstorm. Tony's got so much mana, the Flusterstorm's getting worse and worse.
Flusterstorm would have been enough? Would have been for 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, would have been enough. Yeah, because those Pyroblasts are hard counters right now. Those Flusterstorms aren't really going to get much better, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in the graveyard for Sidher, so he just needs to get to 1 more. I think he's trying to figure out, is there a way I can get 1 more? Just any cantrip lets me get there, but in for 4, going to knock Murata down to 10. Pass turn back. I think if the draw this turn for Sidher was a daze.
Yeah, a.k.a. the card he will eventually pitch to Force of Will.
Yeah, that's the one. Again, tough spot here for Murata too, because again, he can't even bluff show until now because Sidher knows every card in his hand. He can't do anything. He can't bluff show until, like we talked about earlier.
He's had a couple top looks that Ricky's not privy to, so he could theoretically, but
a Brainstorm here from Murata to start his turn.
Yeah, now with a 3rd Cloud Post in play, we've got that Flusterstorm, and it's going to be very tough to get value out of it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Glimmer Posts are actually pretty decent draws now too. There's another Pyroblast.
Ricky's aggressively burning those. He knows Tony has access to another show and tell minimum.
There's the top.
I like.
You gonna force this?
I think I like Pyroblasting the Brainstorm fine. I would have liked it a lot more if we Flusterstormed the repeal on the previous turn.
Okay.
But now this top, forcing this would be a bit of a reach. I'd say
that'd be a bit aggressive, right? I mean, if you got the read in your opponent that the top cards of his deck are just pretty bad, and it's just gonna be a bunch of dead draws, then I suppose it's okay. But I'm kind of with you on this one. It'd be an aggressive force.
The problem is that there's so many ways for those top cards to get shuffled away that you're not really like locking him. Like you are for now. You are pretty sure they're bad because he's been doing all these top tricks and still hasn't, ever tried to do anything relevant. But it's only going to take a couple of cards down or a second top to really effectively just negate your Force of Will.
See the top 3 cards there: Show and Tell, Top, and a Cloud Post. So again, no action for the 12-post deck. Again, if you're Sidher, you need to cut the draw steps in this game as fast as you can. Just because, there's a potential, because there's so much mana out there for Murata.
One of the benefits of Pyroblasting there was that you got a 7th card in the graveyard for Nimble Mongoose. So Tony is now on a 2-turner.
And there's the attack for 5. Going to put Murata down to 5.
And Ricky rolling on Force of Will. Is that a... he has Force of Will, I think a Flusterstorm and a Spell Pierce and the Daze as well. And
Stifle too.
So pretty much one of everything.
Stifle actually being pretty good too, because we could see, spin the top, try to draw a card with the top, and just stifle that activation so you don't actually get what you're looking for.
Yep. Also useful against the Primeval Titan trigger that would provide him with all of the Glimmer Posts he needs to gain life. And of course can also stifle any Eldrazi trigger.
Elephant Grass, you don't do a lot.
Does a little. It's probably going to be enough for Ricky to counter it.
That attack from last turn, I said he'd put him to 5. Actually puts him to 4. Because it's a 3/3. So.
Tony going to pop the top. That's likely going to be enough to draw the Stifle from Ricky if he does have one.
No, that's it happen.
Okay.
I would have stifled there. Assuming he has a stifle in his hand, I feel like stifling is right there at least.
I like stifling there. Tony's been fiddling with that top for forever and hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
And so he clearly found one good card this turn.
Yeah.
And we know it's not that good. It's Elephant Grass, but Tony plays another Cloud Post. He can hardcast Emrakul.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically there next turn. He's got 4, 8, 12, 16, 18 mana.
That would be a glorious way for this game to go down.
Yeah, you're telling me. Actually, it's kind of funny because an Emrakul show. Yes, a bluff show and tell.
This is a bluff show and tell.
Yes, finally. Forcible removing days. I love it.
And now he'll simply cast his Elephant Grass.
Yeah, I love it.
This is all I got, man. Sorry.
Yep. Just an angry elephant. You do have to peel a land to get through, and if he does, it's good enough, but yeah, it's worth a look.
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and throw it up on screen?
Yeah. Queue it up, keep 1. Black creatures cannot attack you. Non-black creatures cannot attack you unless they face an additional 2 for each attacking creature. Now, Glenn, you're a rather smart man. Smarter than I would say.
Sure.
Now, earlier I was discussing with Patrick. It doesn't seem quite fair that black creatures can't attack through this grass. Why can't they pay 2?
I mean, it's very, very grassy grass.
Okay.
It's thick, you know.
So you're telling me that merfolk can pay 2 to get through this grassy grass, but a zombie just cannot figure it out?
Yeah, the merfolk, they're smart people. Industrious, I would say.
They're people. They're not fish?
They're fish people.
Oh, okay.
They're both.
All right. There's a land off the top, and that is going to do it for Ricky Sidher. Defeats Tony Murata 2-1. Rug Delver defeating Cloud Post. Sidher moving on to 7-1, and with any luck, he'll be able to draw on the top 8 just like William Jensen next round.
And